You are listening to the Unsoberly Sober Show. I'm your host, Magnify Maggie. This podcast will turn your perception of going sober upside down. We're going to be working from the inside out to get you that dream life. So make sure you stick around for the end of the episode where I'm going to walk you through our weekly positive pursuit exercise to begin rewiring that beautiful mind, baby. Hello, what is happening, my free and powerful friends? We are finally back with episode 25 of the Unsoberly Sober Show. If you are just listening on Apple or Spotify without video, you won't see this, but if you're watching on YouTube, you will see we are in a different place. We are in a very vibey new studio, and I'm here with one of my best friends here in Vegas, Rob. He is one of the owner-operators for Creative Collective Media. And we've been friends for a while, like almost since I moved to Vegas with Felicia connecting us. And he's also sober.
10 years sober. So it's fun.
It's fun. We were just talking about like, how cool is it that we get to wake up and do this today together as friends, living out our dreams. He is such a fantastic artist with this type of media, other types of media too, but with this type of media. And we just get to come together, nerd out, talk about sobriety, talk about happiness and joy in life. And there's so many people in this life kind of just leading, what did you just call it?
Leading lives of quiet desperation. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right quote.
Yeah, but I think
just leaving your day to day, kind of being a zombie.
Yeah.
Like a Walking Dead, Walking Dead almost.
Do you feel like that's how you were before sobriety? I definitely was.
I was more so in delusional. I was masking a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like lying to myself.
Oh yeah, we were really good liars. And we wouldn't have even really been able to tell. But I'm just so grateful to be here. We're in like high vibes. So I know this episode is going to be so fun, even though we're going to be touching on some things that might not feel super fun in the moment. This episode is going to bring you some strategies, some mindsets that are necessary to understand your coping mechanisms, whether that's drinking, or even opening up the conversation to any type of self-sabotage, whether that's binge eating, shopping, gambling, pornography, all of these things that we know we shouldn't be doing, but we're relying on it as a tool to handle these deeper feelings, like lying to ourselves, living in delusion, being a zombie, not liking our jobs and just settling for it. So I'm just so grateful to kind of pull back the curtains a little bit. The past, I would say 60 days, I think the universe has just been teaching me a whole lot of lessons, and some things went down with not being able to record at the other studio, wishing all of that team and that business luck. But in my angst, in my worry, what am I going to do about Unsoberly Sober? My mind was like, boing, duh, hit up Rob. He just opened up his studio. You guys love to hang out. And I'm just so thankful and grateful for you, Rob. So yay, thanks for having me.
We're going to have a full episode one day.
I hope.
Maybe the next couple ones.
Yeah, the next, and one from now. So I am just loving the vibes. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Today's episode, I'm kind of thinking about it as like the prescription for your coping mechanism. I think I've got a lot of feedback, messages, emails that people are asking, does this content, do these lessons, these mindset topics that you discuss on Unsoberly Sober apply to drugs, hard drugs, apply to recovery with codependency, all of these different, again, coping mechanisms? And my answer is abso-fucking-lutely. I just have the mission to help people with alcohol because that's my story and that's what I grew up around. And if I could save anybody that was like my mom or like me, then that's my whole ultimate life goal. But with that being said, why not take these and apply them to all self-sabotaging behaviors? There's so many people that write me, they're like, I'm able to control my alcohol, but it's this area of my life. And I'm like, still listen, copy and paste the alcohol for whatever that type of behavior is that you want to solve, really. So let's get right into it. I think that this episode could really jar your mind and be contradictory if you just listen on surface level to what I typically talk about. And that is that when we are trying to grow and heal, we have to do that from the inside out, right? That's my usual message and theme. I think that can work for everybody because we are so typically drawn to wanting to numb, wanting to run away, escape our pain with external things. Yes, that can be alcohol, that could be food, that could be shopping, that could be external validation, other people saying, good job, being a perfectionist, getting other people's approval, all these different things. But there's one area that I think we can break the mold. There's one area that I think it's entirely necessary to look outside of yourself. And that's with the kind of broad perspective of happiness. Earl Nightingale said that if you're searching for your own happiness on the inside, you'll never find it. The only way to be happy is to learn how to serve others. And I find that incredibly true with my journey in happy, healthy sobriety, albeit alternative sobriety. I was never able to be happy when I was just going inside and like, why are you not happy? Be happy. But as soon as I started taking the attention off of like the frustration that I'm not happy and looking to how to help other people be happy in their life, how to give them gifts, the gift of time, the gift of a shoulder to lean on, the gift of thoughtfulness, then that really made me feel good. And that was kind of this launching pad to then find my own happiness as a symptom of helping other people. And so I've had over the 60 days, I said the universe has been challenging me, not just in the podcast field, but in the relationship field. I've been standing witness to someone that I considered a very close friend, someone that I considered a ride or die. We were hitched to each other's wagons, so to say, go through something on their own journey that I had been through time and time again. This person lost somebody incredibly close to them, death and grief and loss journey. And as someone who has gone through that, 1, 2, 3, 4, with close family 6 times, I felt internally like I had a blueprint of what not to do. And if I had a blueprint of what not to do, then I also felt like I had a blueprint of what to do. And through the first few weeks and then into the first, second month, third month after that loss, I just noticed a lot of things. And I think that this was something very eye-opening for me in that when we are in our deepest, lowest pits, the depths of depression, even wondering what's the point of life? Why am I here? Why can't I be happy? Those questions bounce around our brain to the point that we begin to feel like we're never going to be able to be happy again. And I know through grief and loss that the first few weeks, maybe the first month, you definitely need to have that time and that space to cradle yourself. Give yourself that safe place to feel your emotions, not run to your coping mechanisms. Like let the emotions be, feel them, talk about them. But after 3 or 4 weeks, you need to get your butt off the couch and you need to stop giving those feelings so much attention. There's a fine balance between sitting with your feelings, so to say, in sobriety. We all have heard that. Sitting with your feelings and then worshiping those feelings. When you start to worship those feelings and say, I just got to sit here and feel them. Well, if you're just going to focus and obsess over them, they're going to last forever. So feel them, but then start to do something where you're taking the focus off of your feelings and putting it into others. Unfortunately, my advice, my what I thought was kind of lending a helping hand to this friend. It didn't fare well, but I'm loving them from afar. And I think, everybody is on their own timeline. And this just brought a lot of attention to, like, if I could go back for myself in my grief and loss journey, or any of those moments where, I had to quit Hooters, or I got kicked out of the military, all these really low moments of my life, if I could go back and do it over again, especially without alcohol, this is what I would do. Your prescription for anti-coping, right? And I think this is where I would say, for 30 days, give to someone every day. I want you to think about how it feels in your body when you are giving a gift to a loved one. And it's a gift that's beautifully wrapped, and it's something that you really put a lot of thought into. You found the perfect thing for them. And you're just like sitting over there and you're watching them open it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how they feel. I can't wait to see how happy they are. It's said that this is a better feeling than actually receiving gifts. It's that we are able to make someone else feel good, which biologically makes us feel good. This is how we're wired as human beings. Interpersonal. How can we serve each other? This is why when isolation occurs, you don't feel good for an extended period of time. You might need to sit alone for a little while, but eventually you got to come out of your shell and start to think about other people. Start to think about how you can give to them. So when you're in your deepest, lowest moments, set a plan to give happiness to one person each day for 30 consecutive days. And when you do this, I think what came to my heart was that you're taking yourself out of a victim mindset. Even if you've been victimized by a person, unfair circumstances, tragedy, loss, illness, even if you've been victimized by that, it's not going to behoove you to remain a victim, to remain in victimhood. So when you sit with your feelings long enough and it's actually starting to make you feel worse, take your attention off of that and say, how could I be a hero to someone? And it doesn't have to be a physical gift at all. Because, hey, I don't think, that materialistic aspect is important. And I don't think we all have the money to be spending gifts 30 days in a row for somebody. But think about when you're at the grocery store and you see a person that just looks like they're carrying a really heavy emotional load. Give them a gift of a smile and a sweet compliment, a genuine compliment. The cashier at the grocery store, when you ask them how they are, I know this happens a lot. Maybe it's just because I have this attitude. I resonate with people, but I'll ask a cashier how they're doing, and they kind of tell me for real how they're doing. Well, my husband did this today, and my bank account looks like this. And I just lend them a listening ear. I don't brush them off. I look them in the eyes and I say, oh, that must be really hard. I'm so sorry you're going through that. I know it's going to get better though. And that took me, 5 seconds to say. And their energy, I can see their shoulders sit back, their head come up a little bit. They start to look me more direct in my eyes. Sometimes I even see the tears welling up in their eyes. That's a gift that you just gave to somebody. And all of a sudden, you are the hero in their eyes. What happens psychologically when we start to become the hero in other people's eyes and in their life? Well, then we start to carry that around, and our mind starts to apply that to all of the areas where we might feel victimized, where we may very well be victimized, been perpetrated, been attacked, emotionally, physically, characteristically, whatever the case. The hero complex, when it comes to other people, starts to rub off on your mind about yourself and your self-image. And then your mind starts to populate ideas of how to win against this victimization, this thing that happened to you that feels incredibly unfair. If I would have had that blueprint back in the day, I would say that my drinking maybe would have never even existed. But I would safely say that it wouldn't have been drawn out nearly as long, because I was so conditioned to think that when bad things happen, just keep obsessing over it until you figure out the solution. But obsessing over it does not give your brain the bandwidth to solve the problem. You have to be in a higher vibe. You have to be in a happy state to start to see the solutions. Otherwise, you might come across a very valid solution, but your victim state of mind will say, no, that will never work. And honestly, that's kind of the dynamic that happened with my friend. I was trying to give them the self-image. You're so strong. You can make it through this. Think about all the things that you've done. Think about all the people that you help. And from where they were in their timeline, they were just like, I can't do that. I don't want to be happy. I don't want to do anything. I'm in such a bad spot. And I had to say, you know what? Victimhood is a slippery slope and I cannot get near it. I love you, but I have to draw my boundary. And I, contacted the family of this friend so that they are left in good hands. But for myself, I had to take a step back and say, well, you actually remind me a lot of myself back in the day. And I can't help you perpetuate that behavior. And I'm not the type of friend to come to if you want to be in that place long term. I'm the type of friend to come to be reminded about your strength. And when you're ready to move forward, let's talk about helping people again, because that's what's going to re-spark that fire that I know is in your soul. And so, I'm mixing kind of what to do, but also my anecdotes of what has been so eye-opening in this. But I want to go through some gifts that you can give to someone you love or even a stranger. I've mentioned a few. The gift of your attention. I think there are so many people in this world that feel alone and they are not given the time of day to talk about their feelings. Again, there's that balance. We need to talk about our feelings. We need to be heard. We need to feel seen. And especially if it's a friend that you have not cultivated a lot of time with lately, giving your friend attention and asking them how they are and being curious about their life, that can take someone from an extremely low point to soaring on cloud nine. They start to feel, oh my gosh, I am loved. They probably forgot how much they love themselves, how much other people love them. So they're going to feel incredibly grateful for that. And you are going to feel that in your soul. And all it takes is maybe 5 to 10 minutes. One day out of your 30. Lending an ear, giving the gift of, hey, what's going on in your life? Tell me more about that. Tell me more about your job. I think there's a lot that I've learned in communication that's not just surface level communication. Hey, how's everything going? Oh, work's been crazy. Oh, yeah, I know. Work's been crazy for me too. Instead of taking the conversation like that, when they say, oh, work's been crazy, say, well, tell me more. What do you mean? What's going on? Be curious, because that shows that you are interested in them. And that, again, can be a stranger, like the bank teller that you see is living a hard situation right now. That could be the woman that you pass on your walk every morning. That could be your very good friend that is in a rough patch. Lend an ear to them to the best of your ability. If you need to draw boundaries after that, then you'll know. Your gut instincts will tell you. But lending an ear is definitely some way that it's free and it doesn't take a lot of time to help somebody else feel good, thereby helping yourself feel good. Give the gift of your time. Help a friend with a small task. Shout out any friends that are moving. How much do we typically hate? We're like, please don't ask me to help you move. But that all in all might take 2 to 3 hours. Or a friend that hasn't been feeling super hot to do housework. Hey, let me come over and help you with laundry. While we're doing that, we can hang out and talk. Let me help you with the task. Let's go wash our cars by hand. I know a lot of these things can sound like, but if you're with a friend, you're going to make it fun and you're going to help them feel good. You're giving them a gift that in turn helps you feel good. Give something really thoughtful. I have noticed in my past that when it came to gift giving, I kind of just had the same methodology, copy and paste across all my friends. And I'm kind of outing myself. I love all of you and I'm so sorry. I just never was very thoughtful. I would always get friends a little gift basket with like a jump rope and a shaker cup and a sweat towel and some exercise bands. And it was like, whether or not this friend was on a workout journey, that's just what I would give them. And it's like, that doesn't really fit every friend. Before that, it would be, a little gift basket of all kinds of booze. Some of my friends didn't even drink, but it was just like me taking my values and saying, you must like this too, right? But this kind of makes a fun game out of it. Start to talk to your friends and take mental or even physical notes of little quirks. What are things that they really love? What are things that they love to nerd out on? I've got a friend, Michelle, I love you, love you. She loves Harry Potter. We both love Lord of the Rings. She loves romance novels, fairy romance, which I didn't think was a thing. So she has all these little quirks, Walking Dead. So when I hear her talking about kind of a new thing that she loves, then I just like put that in my pocket and I think about it. And then I'll be walking around one day and I'll see something that's like so cute. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so Michelle. I'm going to get that for her. Other friends that have different interests, like finding a gift that is truly fitting for another person. That's what that feeling is when you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to open this gift and see what I got you because it's so perfect. It was meant for you. And I freaking found it for you. I'm so thoughtful. That helps build your self-image because when I was just giving the same type of gift to every single person in my life, I was like, I don't even know if they're going to like this. I don't know if they're going to want this or use this, but it's the obligatory birthday gift. So I got to get them something. So I think that's just something fun that I kind of fill my time with year round, trying to like keep a note of what people I love. And then when I stumble upon it, I make sure I get it. And then I can kind of keep it tucked away until the right time comes. Or if you're on this venture, keep it tucked away until day 20 when you need to, give your gift for the day. Day 25, day 30 of your 30. I think that's a fun way to gamify your life. This will also do something really interesting where when you're walking around, you're not going to be thinking, gosh, my life is hard. This sucks. I really want to drink. Your mind is going to be saying, I wonder what kind of cool things I can find for the people I love, the people in my life that I really love and I want to have, make them happy, So it creates like a scent detecting dog out of your mind and you're just like on the prowl and it's a fun game to play in your mind. And, I guess you could share it with your partner who walks with you a lot. My husband's like, do we have to go into, is it Loungefly? Or that's the brand, Lunchbox. Rob, it's like that store at the mall that has all of the cool, like nerdy Harry Potter things and
I don't know. I'm old. I think of Spencer's.
Spencer's is also another one. My husband actually really likes when we can go in there and we're like, let's see if we can find anything for our friends. Just those fun places. I think giving gifts is definitely...
Oh, Lunchbox. I know what that is.
Yeah. Or Lunchbox or Box Lunch or something like that. And Loungefly is a brand that makes a lot of those like video game themed, like beautiful bags, like designer bags with Winnie the Pooh on it.
Yeah, it's like pop culture, right?
Yes, yeah, yes. So, he puts up with that. He actually even suggests, he's like, hey, you want to go in that store, see if we can find anything for your friends? But, think about how much bandwidth now you're devoting to helping others feel good rather than, am I going to be able to stave off self-sabotage today? I don't know. Puts your mind in a different place. One of the most simple gifts to give may take some practice because it does require sincerity and genuinity, if that's a word, is a warm smile. or recognition. I've noticed this a lot lately. I think it's kind of like a ghost of my past self when I'm walking around and I notice, especially another woman, eyes down, kind of like getting out of the way for other people, like, sorry, excuse me, trying very much to make themselves small, not be seen or heard, afraid that they're going to be in the way. That my soul like hurts for them because again, I think it's just my soul recognizing old self in them and empathizing with wherever they might be in their life. Why on earth is this young girl, woman, elderly woman, anybody, why on earth do they feel the need to make themselves small? And so what I'll do is instead of like just walking past them, letting them make themselves small, I kind of just stand there and I look at them and eventually their eyes come up and I just smile. I say, I really love your outfit. I find something on their person to compliment, or even females specifically. Oh, I love your perfume. What are you wearing? And sometimes I've even had like this intuitive voice saying like, ask them if everything's okay. Because who knows if anybody's ever asked them that, the way that they're acting. So one day your gift very well could be like finding someone, noticing someone in your day-to-day activities that's making themselves very small and invite themselves to take up space. Invite them to stand up. I've had a conversation with a girl at a gym a few times, and I've seen her kind of blossom more and more. Instead of like getting out of the way and yielding for everyone, she walks, she says, excuse me, she shoots people a smile. But the very first conversation I had with her, it was in the locker room, and around the corner, she kind of almost like stood up against the wall and eyes down. If she could like make herself flat against the wall, she would have. And I just said, hey girl, like, you don't have to do that. You can take just as much space as I do. And I noticed she like walked and then took a look back. And then she stopped and she came over to me and she was like, I just want you to know that was really, really nice. And I could see tears in her eyes because I don't think she even thought about why she was doing that or that she could have the permission to take up space. So giving a warm smile, a recognition, a call out to somebody, a stranger that you see who needs it. I remember in high school, I was very much the kind of girl that if somebody was eating alone at the lunch table, I would go sit with them and I would just talk with them. We had like the senior bench, and there were certain seniors that were the ones that would sit alone at the lunch table. These certain seniors never sat on these benches before, and I would invite them to come sit with me on the senior bench. And I remember other jocks, the popular ones, being like, you're the reason why people think they can sit on our bench. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Because if not, you guys would all brainwash them to think that they aren't valid or worthy in this world. So I think just showing people that they are worthy, that they are worthwhile, that they are valid, that makes you feel really good. And then again, now you're the hero in that person's eyes, and that'll get your brain to work on like, how can I be a hero in my victimhood? How can I banish my victimhood and start to win against the adversity that I'm facing? Stop wallowing and start doing. Again, kind of in line with that, compliment someone genuinely and sincerely. I find that in my old identity, I would have like these thoughts, like a girl at the gym or at the mall or at work, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I love her outfits. I wonder where she shops at. But then I would think, well, she probably already knows that her outfits are really cute. Like, I don't need to go tell her that. Or I would have like kind of toxic thoughts, like she doesn't need any more compliments. Then I realized that I think it doesn't really matter whether or not they get a lot of compliments. It still makes them feel good, and it makes you feel good. Giving a compliment to somebody just makes them feel seen and heard. Once again, that's such an important aspect of us as people, to be able to take space. And so when I was able to start following that voice in my head that said, oh, you like that about that person, tell them, use your voice, let them know. Then I made more friends. Like, those were the doors that opened friendships. If you like something about somebody, you probably have a lot in common. It was funny. I would be very against complimenting strangers. I think I was also really shy against complimenting strangers, but then I'd be like, why don't I have any new friends? Why don't I know how to make friends? It's like, well, the world is giving you the ingredients. You got to still fucking bake the cake. If you have something on your heart that's saying, hey, tell this person, the man or woman that's standing in front of you at the grocery store, and you see that they have the same kind of food in their grocery cart, and you're like, dang, we're like kind of the same person. Like, I will literally be like, hey, I like what you got in that cart. I like what I see in there. You must be really fit and healthy. If I see a girl at the gym that, we're there on the same day and she's lifting heavy and I see her doing her hip thrusts and she's squatting, I'm like, girl, I love seeing what you do in here. That used to be bonkers to me. But now the fact that I do that, I make friends, I make new connections, and I help people feel good. And that makes me feel good. Now, again, there is a balance to this. Next episode is about being a recovering people pleaser. There is this balance to am I just solely doing these things to receive external validation, to have them tell me good job? Understand, this isn't about them telling you good job. This is about you just feeling good for giving. It has nothing to do with their response, because here's the real brain teaser, is that sometimes you might give gifts and they might not be received well. They might not shoot you a smile. They might say, how could you say that? How could you tell me that I look nice? Look how crappy I look. And, there's people that are not going to receive compliments well. There are people that are not going to receive gifts well. This is also training you to release your need for their response. This is you learning how to give without expectation. If they don't feel good about it, you can still feel good that, hey, I was thoughtful. I said what was on my heart. I lent an ear. That's all I can do. The rest was up to them, and I can feel good about that. So you are going to get some training in how to not expect external validation. If they're not like, boy, you just saved my life. You're such a good person. I love you. You're great. You look beautiful. If they're not like that, which hopefully they're not, because you kind of need to be trained out of needing that. Hopefully they're just like, wow, you made my day. Thank you. But if they're not like that, that's a way for you to grow in your ability to be happy on your own without their approval or validation. So again, there is that balance. Also remember, the universe always rewards your gifts. And sometimes it's not through the vessel in which you gave the gift to. So imagine you gave a physical gift. Maybe here's one that's kind of touching on money mindset. Let's say you had a friend in need that came to you and they're like, hey, I'm in a really tough spot. Can you loan me $1,000? And you're like, hey, actually finances are okay for me right now. I'm going to loan you $1,000. You're doing that to help them. Of course, your expectation is that, hey, they would be able to pay you back. But what if they weren't? What if you stayed in this positive mindset and you said, you know what? The universe returns what I give. They might not pay you back, but you might have an opportunity to make $1,000 through another venture come up within a month or two. So the universe will always return in kind, but it doesn't always look like the same way that you gave it. I don't think my words are wording right on that one, but I think you guys get what I mean. You're going to give gifts to one person, but the universe figures out a way to pay you back, and it might be through another person. It might be through another connection, through another blessing. So as you're giving, just practice understanding that it doesn't have to be that person that gives back. In fact, they might be in a place where all they do is take. But if you remain in the right mindset with the right intention for giving, not in order to receive something, I'm only giving this to you because I want you to have my back later on. If you're not in that mindset and you're just like, I'm giving because I love this person and I hope it helps them feel better, and I know it makes me feel better to be of value to them and be supportive and be of service to them, then the universe is like, Wink, wink. I like it. I'm going to make sure that we pay you back for that one. We're going to get you back in kind. That goes both ways. So just remember, negative and positive. So remember that the universe has your back. Be okay if the gift was not received the way you anticipated. And then remember that this is your activity. We always have our weekly exercise. This one is going to be the monthly exercise for the next 30 days. Do something kind. Make someone happy. Give a gift of happiness, whether that's lending an ear, attention, a thoughtful gift, if that's recognition, just a smile and a compliment, whatever that is. Fill out your calendar, your agenda for the next 30 days to give something small. I've heard several accounts of this working in very magical ways to help even cure autoimmune diseases. Gabor Mate talks about this. Bob Proctor talks about this. Gabby Mate, he mentioned that he actually prescribed a patient with fibromyalgia this type of protocol where the patient was having flare-ups associated with stress, right? And he said, let's take your mind off of trying to make you happy. Do something to make other people happy. Within 30 days, her flare-ups were gone. And she was like, I'm going to live my life this way forever. He writes about it in one of his books where now she can tell if she has a flare-up, it's because she's been too focused internally on how do I make myself happy rather than following our biology and the way we are programmed and hardwired to other people's nervous systems to help them feel good. When we can help them feel good, it raises our happiness levels. So let me know if you have any questions, if you need more ideas on how to help somebody out, how to make somebody feel good with one small deed a day for 30 days in a row. I will say most of you guys are going to listen to this and be like, oh, that sounds really nice. I should try that. And then you're going to forget. And then you're going to be like, why is my life so hard? And I would say, hey, wouldn't it be worth it to have somebody by your side to help remind you to do these types of things? I know a therapist even told me to do this type of thing back in the day. And I was like, leaving her office, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I went back the next week and she's like, how you feeling? I'm like, bad. And she's like, did you do the things that we said? I was like, no, shit. So isn't it really worthwhile sometimes to get the help you need? So if that is you, if you're like, hey, I've been listening to the weekly exercises, they all sound fine and dandy, like they could be really impactful in my life, but I have yet to do one of them or follow through on one of them fully for the 7 days or for the month, reach out. Let me know. You don't have to do one-on-one coaching if that's not your thing. I've got the Magnify course and community. We meet weekly in a community-based call, and there's modules, all types of lessons like this, 30 plus of them to access self-paced, your time, your schedule. There are ways to get these things done, to have the accountability, to have a group of people even by your side doing the same things, reporting in on the little Discord community, all of these things. Reach out. The details are in the description of the podcast episode. And let me know how you're feeling about this. Write, email. You know, I love to hear from you guys. In the meantime, between now and our next episode, which is going to be really exciting, being a recovering people pleaser, remember that you are a powerful, free, badass. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Go make other people happy and notice how the symptom of that is you feeling happier, you having more pride and self-esteem. And when you have all of that, alcohol, it just doesn't hold power over you anymore. So remember, it's all going down in the mind. Think different to drink different or never again. Signing out. Have a good week, guys. It means the entire world to me that you have been here with me, letting me share my experiences and hopefully helping open your eyes to a bright, beautiful life ahead of you as well. So if you are loving this show, please, please, please subscribe, like, comment, and especially share this with somebody that might be in need. Please help get the word out. Word of mouth is so important. And I know that you're somebody special who can help me in this mission for thinking differently in order to drink differently or never again. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions you want discussed on the podcast. I'm here for it. So I'll talk to you soon. Signing out, Magnify Maggie.